Good Monday. It is August 18th, just after 7:30. Wanted to hop on here and give you an update on Hurricane Erin and the tropics in general because we have a Category 4 storm still churning in the Atlantic just to the north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti and just off to the east of Bahamas. So not making landfall, but it's still bringing heavy rain to areas like Puerto Rico, the DR, Haiti, and eventually the Bahamas. Look at that. Just a buzzsaw of a storm as it continues on a northeasterly track. Still expected to make that curve, but right now it's bringing some pretty big swells, even hundreds of miles north and south of the system, up to 10 to 15 feet. Within that center of circulation, you could expect waves upwards of 40 feet. So some big swells with this storm just churning up the Atlantic. And here's a look at the path of Erin. It's been on a westerly trajectory, still expected to make that northeasterly curve, likely maintaining major hurricane strength of 3 to 4 through at least, I would say, Wednesday afternoon before gradually weakening to a 2 and curving out into the open waters of the Northeast. Now, this is going to make somewhat of a close approach to the Outer Banks, and Bermuda should kind of split the uprights between the Outer Banks and the island of Bermuda, but this is still going to have impacts to the East Coast. So even though we're not going to have a direct landfall per se, if it does take that more westerly track, those impacts will be a little bit higher for the Carolina coastline, parts of the mid-Atlantic up to the northeast. And look at this wind field. So this is the probability of tropical storm force winds, not hurricane force winds, but gusts over 40 miles per hour. So from eastern North Carolina all the way to Bermuda, and that's a pretty large distance. So again, this system is going to be big, especially as it starts to move to the northeast, just a wide geographical area. So fortunately, it is looking to stay mainly out to sea, but nonetheless, going to be some coastal flooding in places like the Outer Banks, where there have been mandatory evacuations for Dare County, including Cape Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands. So, I mean, those areas going to be dealing with those issues, no doubt about it. And then as we go through, I would say especially Tuesday and Thursday, rip tides from the Florida Peninsula up to the northeast along the eastern seaboard are going to be one of the main threats with the system, plus some high surf. So those two issues are really what we're going to be dealing with here, at least for the U.S., especially the East Coast, even though we're not going to have, per se, that direct landfall. Then behind Erin, yes, we have another system that we're going to be watching. Now, right now, it's coming off of the coast of Africa, but within the next 7 days, it's going to get into favorable conditions for development once again. Now, keep in mind, this is similar to the path that Erin took, so it may churn up some water, and the sea surface temperatures may be a little bit cooler, so we'll have to watch to see how strong this can potentially get if it develops. Of course, right now, it's way out there, so I mean, it's days away from any kind of land, coming off of the coast of Africa, that is the west coast of Africa. It's just an unorganized area of mess right now. So some thunderstorm activity here and there, but as it moves to the west, it gets into more favorable conditions and it may start to strengthen. And here's a look at the latest guidance. Right now we're calling it Invest AL 97, likely going to continue on that westward trajectory. Will it turn? It's hard to say right now, and it's going to be dependent on what Erin does and the high and low pressure systems across the U.S. and the Caribbean moving forward. So once this thing develops, we'll have a better idea of where it may be going, but for now, it's just something to keep on your radar. Here's a look at our names so far. We're up to 5. If that does become our next named storm, it would be Fernand, and that would be the 6th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, which peaks on September 10th. So, yeah, and things are going to stay pretty active likely for the next couple of months, so we'll keep you updated. But fortunately, here in the Tennessee Valley, not expecting any kind of impacts, tropical related, at least through the end of the month.